personally, here's where I think they didn't do a very good job, and that was with Kelsey Mitchell, who's an unrestricted free agent, because Kelsey Mitchell had a hell of a season.
Have you ever wondered why a legend of the game, Sheryl Swoopes, seems so obsessed with tearing down Caitlin Clark? For months, her comments have fueled a fire of jealousy and division across the WNBA. But that fire was just extinguished by the one person who had every right to be bitter, and her words exposed the ugly truth behind the relentless criticism.
Speaking of moments, you've been, as you mentioned, your career with the Fever.
Before we get to what she said, you have to understand who Kelsey Mitchell is. She isn't just another player on the Indiana Fever. For years, she was the only player worth watching. Mitchell is the soul of the franchise, a warrior who endured the darkest, most desolate years of Indiana basketball. She carried broken rosters, faced nightly blowouts, and answered questions after soul-crushing losses, all while the league and the media completely ignored her. She was the lone survivor, single-handedly keeping the lights on in an empty building.
Last two, what's been the big turnaround? How have you viewed the way the team has grown organically?
Then, in a recent interview, Mitchell finally broke her silence on the storm of noise surrounding her superstar teammate. But this wasn't some generic media-trained soundbite. It was a brutal dose of reality aimed directly at the league's most bitter critics. She didn't just defend Caitlin Clark, she validated the entire phenomenon that voices like Swoopes desperately want to pretend isn't real, a truth bomb that scorched the entire conversation.
And then you bring in Caitlin, who changed the world, changed the dynamic of basketball. And as a friend and as a player, you grow to appreciate her because, certain doors have opened because she's come to the Fever, and you have to respect that. And I love the teammate and person in her because she's accepted it with so much grace and even welcomed us with open arms to, make this thing happen. So I think it just took a lot of big pieces to make, what it is now.
The most powerful part of Mitchell's statement was what it lacked, a single ounce of jealousy. She had every reason to feel overshadowed. After years of being the undisputed #1 option, a rookie came in and instantly became the face of the sports universe. Instead of resentment, Mitchell chose respect. She immediately recognized that the tidal wave of attention Clark brought with her lifted every single boat in the harbor, including her own.
You've changed the world in so many ways. You've done it with so much grace. And I'm so happy to take the floor with you, to be a part of this experience. I want to tell you to give yourself some grace, kid. You've done a lot of things that not a lot of people can do. And from me to you, I'm always going to be a fan. I'm always going to be in your corner. I'm always going to be in your backcourt.
Mitchell laid out the timeline of their franchise with devastating clarity. She acknowledged her own role as the foundation, the one who put in the thankless work when no one was watching. But she then gave Clark full, unadulterated credit for bringing the electricity. She essentially said, "I kept this franchise from sinking, but Caitlin is the one who taught it how to fly. Together they represent survival and revolution, a combination that should be terrifying for the rest of the league."
But you've been with Indiana through the thick and thin. You've been with them since, we was talking, we about to go get our rhythm on Indiana. You've been there, you stuck through until now being in the semifinals. What does that feel like? And for people watching, girls, boys, if they athletes, not athletes, what does it feel like to stick through something and now see it come into full fold?
This powerful embrace stands in stark contrast to Sheryl Swoopes, who has been on what feels like a personal crusade to chip away at Clark's legacy before it's even been built. Swoopes questioned her stats, made up facts about her age and shot attempts, and arrogantly dismissed her potential to dominate at the next level. It was a pattern of negativity that felt deeply personal and completely unnecessary from a supposed ambassador of the game.
Last two, what's been the big turnaround? How have you viewed the way the team has grown organically?
Oh, man, I think a big shout out to the organization taking time to rebuild. I think our draft picks ended up coming big. Lexi Hall was a big draft pick, and then you get Kaylin, and then you get AB. And so you culminate that together with, my experience and having to, go through a couple things before they got there. I think it was just like a match made in heaven, really, because I was, still at a young age to really, vibe and get to know these players for who they were. And then you bring in Kaylin, who changed the world, changed the dynamic of basketball. And as a friend and as a player, you grow to appreciate her because, certain doors have opened because she's come to the Fever, and you have to respect that.
And that's what makes Mitchell's loyalty so damning for Swoopes and her supporters. It forces an uncomfortable, unavoidable question onto the table. If Kelsey Mitchell, the veteran whose spotlight was directly absorbed by Clark, isn't bitter, why is a retired Hall of Famer watching from a studio? Mitchell's praise wasn't just a defense of a teammate, it was an indirect exposure of the petty jealousy that has infected the entire conversation around Clark's rise.
Ogumike even saying that you had the best season of any guard this year in the league. What has it been like to get that kind of recognition and get your flowers?
Oh, I appreciate it. I've been to a lot throughout the course of my career with Indiana Fever. It's been like my longest, ever. So it's for me, it's a humbling experience to kind of see myself make waves from where it started to where it is now. And just kind of respect the game, lean on the game as far as creating bonds and friendships. And now you get to see us do that now, a couple years later.
This isn't just about Swoopes either. We've seen the subtle shade from other veterans, the passive-aggressive side-eye from players like Asia Wilson, and a general refusal from the old guard to acknowledge the seismic shift Clark has created. They see her as a threat, a disruptor who didn't pay her dues in the way they see fit. But Mitchell, a true leader, sees her not as a threat, but as an opportunity. She proved that real confidence isn't threatened by another's light, it's amplified by it.
Oh man, it's an unbelievable experience. It's a moment that I don't want to, take for granted. I want to cherish it as much as I possibly can. Like I said, I want to use this moment to as a moment to not grow. And so hopefully the mental preparation that I've been through and the things I've been through can kind of help me get through these moments. And then loving basketball for what it is and just, loving the game and having fun with it.
What we are witnessing is a classic case of gatekeeping from the old guard. They seem to believe that Clark's sudden meteoric rise somehow erases their own history or diminishes their accomplishments. They see her hype as manufactured and unearned, ignoring the fact that she is putting more eyes on their sport than ever before. They want her to follow an unwritten set of rules, to bow down to the past before building the future. But Kelsey Mitchell's words cut through that noise, reminding everyone that Clark isn't here to erase history. She's here to expand it.
I love the teammate and person in her because she's accepted it with so much grace and even welcomed us with open arms to, make this thing happen. So I think it just took a lot of big pieces to make, what it is now.
What has it been like? Because certainly the world has been focused on her. But What has it been like as a teammate? Because sometimes people are stepping to her, but I feel like you guys are stepping right back in those situations.
I think it's just it's competitive nature, man. You know how it goes. It's just competitive nature. I think that we want to fight to, love on our team and be who we are and respect the game at the same time. So I think it's a lot of just competitive nature at the end of the day.
To truly grasp the weight of Mitchell's words, you have to remember the Fever of just a few years ago. They weren't just bad, they were the league's punchline. Wins were a shocking anomaly, and the team was buried so deep in irrelevance that no one even noticed. Mitchell was the one left to smile through the pain, talking about building blocks and trusting the process after another 20-point loss in a half-empty arena. She was carrying a franchise on her shoulders like a lone survivor dragging a broken body through a desert.
Prior to game one, I saw Caitlin post that she was fined $200 by the league for stepping on the court. So was there a locker room pool for her there, or did she take care of that herself?
Man. I'm pretty sure somebody took care of it for her. I love it because as much people don't know this about Caitlin, but she has an unbelievable funny sense of humor. And so I think the tweet was the tweet, but you just have to know CC to know that it's just nothing but love coming from that kid, and her energy and her effort to just kind of support our team is just her way of doing it.
Then hope arrived in pieces. First, Aaliyah Boston, a foundational post player to finally build around, and then came Caitlin Clark, a supernova who didn't just change the team, she bent the entire sports world to her will. She was a cultural shift wrapped in a jersey. Suddenly, the forgotten franchise was selling out arenas, dominating ratings, and forcing the entire sports world to pay attention. Mitchell lived through both realities, the irrelevance and the resurrection, and she knows which one builds a future.
You have the best sideline in the league, I feel like, right now. What does it mean to get that support during the postseason from the crew?
Oh, man, it's unbelievable. And I think the best part about it is that we have vet experience when it comes to Sydney Carlson, and she's a winner and she's a champion. And then you have people like Caitlin, who's a PG and can pass the ball. And so when I come on the sideline, I get feedback from some of the best players in the league. And so I don't take those moments for granted either, because I feel like it's a chance to see the game in a different route, and I get to, get to talk to them from a level of just them having confidence in me to make plays. So I love it. It's a good experience to have.
This transformation wasn't just a feeling, it was a statistical explosion. The Caitlin Clark effect is a documented phenomenon. The Indiana Fever's attendance has skyrocketed by over 180 A's. On national television are seeing their highest ratings in over 2 decades. The league's own app downloads have surged. These aren't opinions, they are hard, cold facts. For Swoopes and others to dismiss this as mere hype isn't just bitter, it's delusional. Mitchell is on the front line, seeing the sold-out arenas and feeling the energy, making her perspective infinitely more valuable than that of a critic in a studio. But Mitchell's comments revealed something even deeper than professional respect. She called Clark her friend. In the cutthroat, ego-driven world of professional sports, where locker rooms can be toxic minefields, that word is a bombshell. It's a signal that Clark hasn't just integrated into this team, she's helped heal it. It suggests she isn't some arrogant star who came in to hoard the spotlight, but someone who came to build a real, authentic culture. Clark didn't arrive to hoard the spotlight, she arrived to create an orbit where everyone could thrive. That distinction is massive. She doesn't hog the ball or demand all the glory. Instead, she acts like the sun, radiating so much light that everyone else around her shines brighter. And Mitchell's own resurgence is the ultimate proof. Since Clark's arrival, Mitchell's profile has exploded. She's playing more efficiently, scoring in bigger clutch moments, and finally getting the national recognition she always deserved but was never given. The proof of their unbreakable bond is in the chemistry. Remember when Clark made that infamous joke on social media about a league fine? The pundits and critics pounced, twisting it into a sign of arrogance, immaturity, or entitlement. But Mitchell revealed that inside the Fever locker room, it was comedy gold. The team laughed and loved it. It was a moment that showed the massive disconnect between the public narrative and the team's internal reality. If there was resentment, that tweet would have been a spark. Instead, it was just another piece of glue holding them together. What Mitchell has displayed is a new, more powerful form of leadership. It's not about who yells the loudest or who has the most seniority. It's about who stands for something when it matters most. While critics like Swoopes engage in tearing down the next generation, Mitchell is focused on building them up. Her leadership is one of welcome, of collaboration, and of understanding that a rising tide lifts all boats. She is showing the league that security doesn't come from gatekeeping, it comes from growth. Now, Indiana is building something that looks suspiciously like a dynasty. With the Fab Four of Mitchell, Clark, Boston, and Nalissa Smith, the future is blindingly bright. Mitchell even hinted that she would be willing to take less money to keep that core intact. In an era of max contracts and constant player movement, that is a revolutionary statement. It's a sacrifice that signals a deep belief in what they're building, something bigger than any one player's bank account. Cynics will say that friendship doesn't win championships, but they're missing the point entirely. The Fever's unity is their ultimate weapon. While other teams are consumed by internal drama and jealousy, Indiana is building a culture of genuine support, led by a veteran who chose to uplift her rookie teammate instead of undermining her. This is why they are so dangerous. Their chemistry isn't a byproduct of their talent, it's the foundation of it. In the end, Kelsey Mitchell's comments weren't just a pat on the back for a teammate, they were a manifesto for the future of the WNBA. She essentially said, "Clark has changed everything, and I'm here for it." There was no bitterness, no insecurity, just gratitude and solidarity. She issued a silent challenge to the league's old guard: either recognize what's happening in Indiana and get on board, or get left behind in the dust. So as this story unfolds, two clear figures have emerged. On one side, you have Kelsey Mitchell, the builder of bridges, a leader who understands that the future is something to be welcomed, not feared. On the other, you have Sheryl Swoopes, a voice from the past, spending her energy trying to tear it all down. Mitchell didn't just defend her teammate, she aligned herself with history, and Swoopes, with all her bitterness, is already on the wrong side of it.